Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 5. Now, we want to explain about feedback mechanisms, but before we start it, let me introduce myself. My name is Nazlihatunnisa, and here there is my friends.
Hello, my name is Shoffia Medina Al-Haq.
Okay, now let's start talk about feedback mechanisms. Feedback mechanism is a physiological regulation system in a living body that works to return the body to its normal internal states, or commonly known as homeostatis. In a biological sense, feedback mechanisms involve biological process, signal, or mechanisms that tend to start or inhibit a process. There are two types of feedback mechanisms, depending on whether the input change or the physiological parameters deviate from their limits. These are negative feedback and positive feedback mechanisms. Okay, for the first, let's talk about negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback mechanism is a mechanism that opposes a deviation from the set point. It is the most common regulation mechanisms to help maintain homeostasis. Below is the example of negative feedback mechanisms when the body temperature rises, or we know as overheating. While overheating occurs, the temperature receptor in our skin will detect the rise in the temperature. This temperature receptor then will send the information to the hypothalamus in our brain. For the next, the brain will send signal to activate sweat glands, which causes them to breathe sweat, which cools the body and lowers the body's temperature. This sweating opposes the initial rise in body temperature. So that is the example of negative feedback. Let me move to the next feedback mechanism.
For the next feedback mechanism is positive feedback mechanism. In positive feedback, feedback serves to intensify response until an endpoint is reached. We can see in the screen the process of positive feedback. First, the initial stimulus response will send impulse to the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus will detect it and then issue it as a response that will increase the initial stimulus, and this even will continue to repeat in order to stop. There must be outside factor required to set off positive feedback cycle. And for the example of positive feedback mechanism is fiber. We can see in the screen the process. The process begins first nerve impulse from cervix transmit to brain, and brain stimulates pituitary gland to secrete oxytocin. For the next, oxytocin carried in bloodstream to uterus. Then oxytocin stimulates uterine contraction and push baby towards cervix. And then head of baby goes against cervix. So will continue until it's done. So that's for positive feedback mechanism. And then so that is from us, more or less. Sorry. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.